14th.
Hey guys, welcome to our team call for January 14th. First, I wanted to make a huge announcement, a shout out to Katie Jenkins, who hit Emerald Rank today. She actually hit it in 5 days. She signed up last week, and in 5 days, she already had 2 coaches. So today, she went Emerald, and it's absolutely fantastic. She's been diving into anything that she possibly can and asking all kinds of questions. What's pretty cool about that is, at my Super Saturday, somebody, one of the guys said, as coaches, do you ever have those people that just bother you all the time? Like they're just always messaging you. And it's a great thing, right? Like you'd think that's annoying, but at the same time, like if they're not asking questions, it's like crap.
Yeah.
Messaging me. So it's like we want you to bug us. And so she's been asking a lot of questions. She's been doing really well. And so she hit Emerald really quick. I don't think she's on the call yet, but I know she is working on getting on here. So shout out to Katie. She's great. And I wanted to talk about a couple of announcements before handing the mic over to Amanda. I know she's got some pretty awesome things to share with us today. So we have our Coach Open House that is Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, so 9 for most of you guys. Basically, it's an event on Facebook. I'm sure you guys have all seen it. Make sure, I know some of you had selected that you're interested in going. Make sure you're selecting that you're going, because if you have clients that you're inviting to go to this Coach Open House, you need to make sure you're there, because Amanda and I can't just, do everything. We need your guys there to help answer questions with us and make sure that's a really successful group. So we're really excited about that. Like Amanda and I are working on some graphics to put together for the prizes, some ideas. So it should be really good. We're really excited about a new version of a sneak peek. The other thing is the recruiting school. So that starts Monday as well. So we're working on, getting to our posts, finishing up our posts this weekend for you guys. And this should be like huge. When I look at all the trainings that we've done with specifically our team, Exhilarated Empire, one of the things that, one of the things I notice in our training is that my team specifically really struggles with the inviting aspect of recruiting people. So we really want to just put a lot of focus into that in this recruiting school and really help you guys out with that area. So you know what, Amanda, that was you with all that noise.
I'm just sitting here. What did I do?
It was a lot of noise. It's good now. I muted you and unmuted you. That's fine.
Sorry. You can mute me. It's cool.
Anyways, so yeah, we're really hoping that you guys can really grab a lot from this recruiting school and really get some more ideas on how to recruit people. Honestly, for me, that is the hardest part, but I've gotten a lot better over time. Like I'm not even kidding how much better I've gotten at talking to people. It just takes practice and getting out of your comfort zone. So we're really excited about that, starting that group with you guys next week. But I think that is all I have. I'll probably post an Exhilarated Empire about team call next week. Amanda and I will talk about another call we want to run because we have a lot going on. Tuesday we have the open house, and we leave Thursday to go to Santa Monica. So it's going to be kind of hard to squeeze in a call. But we obviously hate missing calls with you guys, so we're going to see if we can work something out. Plus, we might need something, to talk about, after the coach open house and with the recruiting school. It'd probably be kind of nice, to get all together and talk about how it's going. Right, Amanda?
Yeah,
cool.
I agree. I'm flexible. Cool. So anything else? You good?
I don't think so. I think that's everything I wanted to go over.
Okay, cool. So, hey, for everybody that doesn't know me, I'm Amanda Bush, and I am one of Keith's personally sponsored coaches, so you might know me from Accelerate or the calls or whatever. And as far as my team, I would love to just recognize Renee because she went Emerald today. And Renee is one of the coaches that I've just started working with due to another coach stepping down. So I've inherited a lot of coaches. So I really appreciate them working with me and, trying to figure out this new normal. And I've been adding them to the group, but they're really excited and really positive and just jumping right in, which I love because I know it's got to be kind of tough to move on to another coach when you're used to somebody. So I really appreciate all the stuff that they're doing. But Renee today went Emerald finally, so she's really happy about that, and we're looking forward to going even further.
Awesome.
So,
something real quick.
Yeah.
So I have a couple new coaches on the call, so I just want to say Amanda is actually my success partner. We've been working together a lot. We kind of, fit in calls together whenever we can, but yeah, she's from our upline team, so her and I have been together for a while. So I meant to throw that in there, and I forgot because some of the people already know you, and I forgot we have a few newbies.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny because when we came up with the recruiting school, I was like, I need to recruit. I need to work on my recruiting. What should we do? Let's train people on how to recruit, and that will just force us to do it. So I totally plan on participating 100% with it, and I love the fact that it's short and focused, and we can get in and get out, and you guys will really I think you'll learn a lot in a short amount of time. So that's exciting. Now I think I can share my screen. So I'm going to try to do that. And then we'll get down to business. Okay. Here we go. Now, does that look, I'm going to try to go full screen, and if something goes wrong, let me know. Go full screen. How do I do it?
Perfect.
Can you still see me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So finding your power in struggle. This seems like a very dramatic title for a presentation for a team call, I realized. And I just want you to know, not everybody, when we think of like a struggle, we think of something in our life that's like held us back, or, maybe we came from a broken home, or something terrible has happened to us. And I just want to say, for the purposes of this call, we're just talking about, sure, you might have some of that stuff. Some of us don't. But in the case of this presentation, a lot of us are just going to be thinking about it as the daily struggles, or what I call the struggle bus. So when we think about being an entrepreneur, I always think about the struggle bus because there are so many new coaches and seasoned coaches who just have been riding the struggle bus for a very long time. And really, actually, being an entrepreneur is like being on a roller coaster. When you first sign up, you're so excited. It looks so fun. People are on there. They're like, woo! They're having a blast. Everything looks great. And when you decide to take your turn on the roller coaster, you've got all these people watching you. You step up in there, you strap yourself in, and you've got all these people watching, waiting to see what's going to happen. And at first, it's very fun, and it's very exciting. And you're kind of going up the hill, and you're anticipating this fun ride you're about to have. And then something happens to you shortly after you become a coach, and maybe you get made fun of by a family member, or maybe a friend of yours hates on one of your posts, or maybe somebody says something negative about network marketing or MLMs. And you start to kind of go down that hill on the roller coaster. And then maybe something cool will happen, like you make a sale, or you help somebody get started with fitness, or somebody compliments you on your results or your progress. But then you come around the corner and maybe your results are suffering. Maybe you have a bad day. Maybe a coach on your team decides to quit, and you start going down the hill again. So when you're thinking about being on this journey as an entrepreneur, as a coach, think about it as a roller coaster as far as the highs and lows. There's always going to be highs and lows. And there's always going to be people off to the side who are too afraid to get on. So I want to talk about crabby people. So I don't know if you've heard this story. If you've read personal development books, you probably have heard this story about crabs. And when fishermen, or people who fish for crabs, or whatever you call them, they go out and they cast their net into the sea to get crabs. And they put the bait in there, and the crabs come in, and they pull it in, and some of the crabs, they usually just kind of sit there. They're trapped. They're happy with their food. When the food runs out, the bait runs out, a couple of the crabs decide they're going to get out. They're perfectly capable of getting out. There's nothing stopping them. So a couple of them start to leave. And the crabs, this is true, the crabs will actually grab the crab that's trying to escape, and they will pull it back in. They will make it so the crab can't leave. They'll actually tear the claws off the crab in some cases to keep the crab in with them. And this is what we have to think about with owning your own business, being a coach, being an entrepreneur. People may pull you down and try to hold you back and try to talk you down out of this opportunity because they're uncomfortable. They're afraid. They might have heard terrible things about network marketing, or they just are feeling like you doing something is affecting them negatively somehow. So, crabby people, dealing with crabby people. I'm going to move my little window over. So there we go. So the most important thing to remember is people fear what they don't understand. If somebody, when I first heard of network marketing and Beachbody as a network marketing thing, I immediately thought, Avon and Mary Kay and those candle parties that we all get invited to that we have to go to, or, and not knocking that at all, because I've gone to them and I've held them at my house, but it's just a little different. Most people think like, I don't really want to have to do that. I don't want to have parties at my house. So, most people have that impression of network marketing that people are pushy or salesy or whatever. And people also get crabby when they see something in themselves that they need to improve upon. So it's almost like when you're being positive, you're posting your results, you are, posting the positive things about your business or whatever, it holds up a mirror to other people. And they think, oh my gosh, I'm not where she is. I don't have that confidence, or I haven't gotten this far on my journey. And so instead of, reflecting and looking at themselves, they may try to bring you down, or they may try to make a comment and knock you down to make themselves feel better, because as it says here, hurt people hurt people. So people who are hurting, people who haven't had the results in fitness, people who haven't had a cheerleader, people who haven't had that positive environment, they can lash out and hurt others. So this next part I made up myself. I'll take credit for this. The Kermit effect, when their opinions are none of your business. I want you to be like this. It's none of my business. Because you just have to do you. You have to do you, be proud of what you're doing, and don't let them rain on your parade. Be like Kermit and say, hey, that's none of my business. You can only control certain things in your life. You can control the posts that you make, your effort as far as your health and fitness, your, positive attitude. You can't help what other people are going to think about it. So you have to protect your focus and protect your energy. And when you see negativity coming into your life, you have to push it away. So this is a big one. This was a big lesson for me. Belonging versus fitting in. So when we're talking about, putting yourself out there as a coach, most of us want to fit in because that's what we're taught to do from a very young age, from school. You want to fit in with the popular crowd. You want to do what they're doing. You want to just have them accept you, and you want to have that warm, fuzzy feeling where you feel like you fit in. But actually, fitting in is a lot different than belonging. Fitting in means that you're changing yourself, something about yourself, to actually conform with the group. And it's the biggest obstacle to truly belonging. So when you're trying to fit in, you're trying to shape yourself, mold yourself. You're not being true to yourself because you're trying to fit in with people who you perceive a certain way. So when we're talking about belonging, that's like the real deal. Belonging is showing up with your scars, with your warts, with your stretch marks, with whatever, showing up and letting yourself be seen and being real. And I think that's what we have here in our teams, is more a sense of belonging than fitting in. If you go through your whole life trying to fit in, it's going to be a hollow existence. If you're hustling constantly to fit in, you're never going to be truly fulfilled, because that really comes from being authentically yourself, and showing up and saying, hey, this is who I am, and having other people say, hey, me too, you're one of us, you belong. And I want you to really focus on this last statement. Your level of belonging can never be greater than your level of self-acceptance. You cannot truly belong in any group if you don't love yourself first. you can't expect anyone to love you more than you love you, you know? So I think that's super important. I kind of underlined it. I think it's so, like, it just really grabbed me when I read it. A lot of these ideas are from Brene Brown. She's written a lot of books on just being your authentic self. She is actually like a researcher, and she researches, you know, shame and vulnerability and things like that. And she's really interesting. She's got a lot of books. Daring Greatly is actually the title of one of her books. So what do? We try to, you know, dare to be ourselves without trying to be perfect. And we can think of perfection as this giant, heavy shield that we carry around. We put ourselves out there as this perfect person, only highlighting the perfect parts of ourselves, or changing things to make it seem like we have this perfect life or whatever. But if you think of perfection as a shield, and you think about this quote, and I don't know who said it, but without the cracks, no light can get in. So when we're our true selves and we show the cracks and we show the vulnerability, that's when the light gets in. And, you know, if you think about it as a shield, you know, you're carrying around this heavy, heavy burden, and that's actually preventing you from taking off. That's preventing you from being your authentic self. That's preventing you from being able to relate to another person because you're putting this perfection out there. And, you know, especially with our coaching, nobody is perfect. You know, nobody's fitness is perfect. Nobody's dedication and commitment is perfect. And when you think about the, you know, quote unquote epidemic that we have right now with health and fitness, I mean, the majority of people out there are not perfect. We know that. So in order to relate to those people, we really have to be able to share and be vulnerable, because it's not being weak. It's owning your story, and it's making your mess into your message. So always try to think of, you know, when something bad happens to you, something with your health and fitness, something in your life, think about how you can change that into something positive. And you can highlight that when you're talking to people on social media or making posts or whatever. You can highlight the fact that, you know, this is what I learned from it. So struggle is inevitable. I think I'm talking really fast. Oh, not too bad. Okay, I'm gonna check my time. Sometimes I forget to breathe. So struggle is inevitable. We all struggle. Obviously, what matters the most is how we react to it. You know, if something happens to you and you let that just completely consume you, you know, that doesn't help anybody. That doesn't help you. That doesn't help the people that you're trying to help. And it actually prevents you from reaching out to people, because that really, you know, knocks down your confidence level. So it's important to remember that you don't have to be perfect and you don't have to know it all. And I put baby steps here because I want to use another analogy with a baby. When a baby is first born, and it's, you know, hitting all of its developmental milestones, and it gets to the point where it's time to walk. If you've ever seen a baby that is trying to walk, you totally understand that the baby will stand up and fall down a million times, maybe take a step and fall on its face and whatever. And, you know, does the parent of the baby go over and say, baby, you failed. You can't walk. You're worthless, baby. You know, no, the mom goes over, picks the baby up and pats it on the head and says, it's okay. You're doing fine. Try again. Go, you know, I'll help you. I'll catch you. Go ahead, try again. You know, the baby is not defective. You are not defective because you've made one mistake or you've fallen down once or twice. You know, think about yourself, especially if you're a newer coach or a coach who has maybe slacked off and you're trying to get back into it. You know, you can take those baby steps, and part of being a coach is failing forward anyway. I mean, how many times have we just thrown something up on our wall and thought like, oh, please somebody comment on it, and it completely tanks and you go and delete it. I mean, what's beautiful about social media is that you can delete things pretty quickly and then it never happened. So don't be afraid to fail forward. And, you know, we've all done that where we have, you know, posted a complete stinker and then 10 minutes later we realized it's complete crickets and we just delete it. I mean, it happens to me probably on a weekly basis. So remember that one of the most powerful things that we have is connection. The fact that you can connect your story to somebody else is so important. The biggest thing that somebody can say to you is, oh my gosh, me too. Because how does that feel? It makes you feel awesome because you feel like, okay, I've got something in common with the person. It makes them feel awesome because they feel like somebody can relate to them. So when you're talking with people, having those conversations and asking all those questions, you have to build bridges. So, you know, if somebody's talking about the fact that they struggle with late night cravings, okay, if that's something that you've had experience with, you can say, you know what, I completely relate to you. Let me tell you this story. You know, I used to do this. I used to hide my snacks, and when the kids went to bed, I would get into my snacks and I would eat the whole bag and da da da. I mean, tell your story, make the connection, and don't be afraid to be personal with people, because that's how you build trust. That's how you build connection. And that is going to help that person take action so much easier than if you're just this robotic, like, tell me about your fitness, tell me about your nutrition. You have to be able to connect and build bridges. So even in your posts and things like that, you want to just hit on those things that you know people struggle with. What kinds of things were you struggling with before you found Beachbody or before you found this community of people? That's the person you want to talk to, is the old you. On Facebook, you want to be addressing the old you, and you want to be kind of hitting on those pain points, those things that you used to struggle with that now you get. You know, now you get it. Now you understand how to help somebody else. Make sure that. And just know that action cures fear. You know, you'll get experience with this. You will learn how to talk to people and relate to them so much better. You know, we've got a lot of guidance and scripts and all that stuff for you, but experience and action is what is going to do it for you. I totally understand what it's like to be afraid to talk to somebody because you're afraid you're going to get rejected. So just action is what's going to do it. If you get rejected, so what? You know, that's another no that you can add to your list. And that's another person you can follow up with. And that's just practice for you. So what do you do when you're feeling this negativity and you're feeling this drain? I mean, I know I've done this where I've just felt like, you know, I come to work on Facebook, you know, and I get down to business and I start inviting to people and talking to people and all this stuff. And then I see something on my newsfeed that's so negative and so terrible, and I try to like push it aside, and then somebody messages me and they've got a complaint about their order, or maybe one of my coaches is stressing out because this or that happened, and then I go to a coach page and somebody is complaining about It Works wraps and how crappy they are and all this stuff, and it's like you just get this negative like heaviness to you. And that's what I was talking about earlier, as far as like protecting your focus and protecting your positivity. You have to be able to have an outlet. So these are some ideas for you. Not all of these are going to work for you, but it's important to be able to talk to somebody about this. Talk to somebody who gets it. Don't blast it to everybody. This is on the list as well. Don't whine on Facebook. You don't have to put that negativity out there for everyone. Okay, so share your struggle does not mean bitch on Facebook. Does not. Sharing your struggle means you share the positive spin that you have put on this. You talk about your challenges, what you've learned from them, how you're going to do things differently. So you can also just take a break. Be kind to yourself. Go outside. Okay, I know it's January. Oh God, it's January. It's freezing. You probably don't want to go outside, but go somewhere. Go to a coffee shop, take a drive, unplug. And if there's people on your Facebook making you feel inferior, making you feel like you are not enough, making you feel like you're unworthy, unfollow that person. There's no need to follow a top coach who every time you see their post, you're like, oh my gosh, I really should be at 5-star right now, but I'm not. I'm worthless. If that's how you feel and that's how it makes you feel to see their stuff, no, it shouldn't. But if it does, maybe you need to just pull back a little bit and unfollow some people, because you want to be you. You don't want to be somebody who's trying to fit in, remember, and you don't want to be somebody who's, you know, trying to be something that you're not. So if it's easier for you to be your authentic self and to be positive, then unfollow some people. I know I've done it. Just people who are so stinking successful, and you're like, like you're happy for them, but it makes you feel a little less than. So it's normal. Oh my gosh, is where I start talking real fast. Okay. Repeat a mantra to yourself. This is a little woo-woo, I'll give you that, but it helps. If you think of like a power phrase, that's another word for a mantra. Something that I say to myself sometimes is, I'm a people pleaser, and I get very upset when somebody is upset with me. It really stresses me out, and I'm sensitive. So I tell myself in my head, I matter too. That's one of my mantras. Just something that's a power phrase that's going to snap you out of your mental funk and help you understand, that you need to be positive. Give yourself an alter ego. Okay, Beyonce has an alter ego. I don't know if you know this. Her name is Sasha Fierce. And that's like her alter ego that is like her power avatar. That's like if I want to say if she's going on stage or something, she like becomes Sasha Fierce. You can give yourself that same thing where you're going to be positive and you're going to be outgoing and you're going to be the person that you should be and that you want to be. I already covered Don't Whine on Facebook. If some bad stuff is going on, people are talking about you, people are saying things about you, and you find out about it or whatever, ask yourself, is that true? Or if you have a negative thought, stop yourself and say, is that true? And change the tape in your head that's constantly playing and beating up on yourself, because you would never talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself sometimes when you're being negative, right? So that's the short version of that slide. So here's the final thought. You're imperfect, you're wired for struggle, but you're worthy of love and belonging. And that's Brene Brown, who wrote all those awesome books that I talked about. And that's what I got.
Awesome.
So I know we don't have a lot of time. I'm sorry, I sucked up all the time. We have 8 minutes.
If anyone has anything to add or questions or anything, just unmute yourself. Go ahead. That was
I love
awesome,
the create
Amanda.
an alter ego. I've kind of been doing that concept over the last couple weeks with my life page and the Fit Hippie chick. I've kind of like created that alter ego and have started to become that, and it's crazy that it actually works.
Yeah, act as if.
I find myself, like I was at Super Saturday, and the first one I was so nervous, but this one I was literally dancing myself down the aisle in front of just random people. Didn't used to be me, but it totally is now.
It's awesome. Was that helpful?
I thought so. I like the alter ego too, because I'm a lot like you. Like, if I think someone's upset with me, it literally stresses me out to the max. Like, I'm one of those people, if someone doesn't text me back right away, or I see that they've seen my message but they don't respond, I'm like panicking in my head, like, what did I do wrong? And it stresses me out. So like, I have to take that moment and be like, wait a second, did I do anything wrong? Like, no. And I have to correct myself, and I have to stand my ground and know that I matter too, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. And it goes so into coaching.
Yeah, because I think we tell ourselves these things like, like I'm annoying them or whatever,
Right. I think Jennifer was trying.
I think she froze. She froze for a second.
The more we practice that, the easier it gets people in it.
Right. Right. Like, I was also one of those people.
The more you do it, the easier it gets for people.
Right. When I used to reach out when I first was a coach, I remember feeling like, I had to respond to people right away, or if they didn't respond to me right away, they're thinking I'm being too pushy or that I'm just trying to sell them stuff. And it's like one of those things that, like you said, are you doing anything wrong? And if you feel like you're trying to sell stuff, then you probably need to take it back a little bit. Or for me, like, I used to always feel like I had to respond right away. So to me, I had to make time management and know that I have a life too. There's nothing wrong with responding as soon as I'm available. I don't have to respond right away. So that was a really good point.
I like the baby steps comparison.
Say it.
Say it.
The baby steps comparison. I got my mic on, but I have it muted to where I can't talk, so I didn't realize. Normally I'm yelling with my headphones in.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I think that we have to be realistic with ourselves, and, we do play this tape as far as, oh, Amy, I'm going to read what Amy said. She said, so many people say they want to change, and then you ask what's stopping them or ask what they plan to do, and they just don't say anything. or own what they're doing? How do I run with that and get them deciding a plan of action? I sort of, I reflect it back to them. And I'm like, hey, Danielle, you said that you wanted to lose 20 pounds. You said you wanted to lower your blood sugar. You're really for your, your family's sake. Were you serious about that? Do you seriously want my help? Or are you trying not to hurt my feelings? Like, I will literally say that to get them back to reality, where they're like, well, yeah, of course I want to change and I want help. You have to kind of just be assertive with your language. And we're going to talk about this in recruiting as well, because it applies to invites in general. Wouldn't you agree, Danielle?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I think that's one of my strengths is my team knows I'm an assertive person when it comes to coaching. So I think that it can be a strength and a weakness, but I think that's really helped because I've dealt with that so much with rejections that people will, they'll drift off like that. And it's like, Amy knows I'm assertive, but people will drift off and it's like, how important are your goals to you? You just spilled your beans to me and told me your why. But you don't want to spend $60 to change your life. Please tell me how important that is to you, because that's priceless to change your life like that. So you just have to learn, your way around it and speaking to them and reflect on their goals again.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think probably a lot of people are used to making excuses in their lives, making excuses for themselves, putting themselves last. And you may be the first person in their life who's like, telling them what it is, giving them a little bit of tough love, because you don't want to work with somebody who's going to half-ass it, are you? I mean, you really don't want to do that. You want somebody to get results. And if the person's going back and forth and they don't really know if they want this and they're being wishy-washy, they're probably not going to go all in, So you want to think about them and their results too. You're just looking out for them by getting tough with them to an extent. You're saying, let's look at this. Let's look at your why. Let's dig deeper and just keep peeling back the layers, because you're going to reach a pain point at some point where the person's going to say, oh my gosh, I need this. I have to do this.
Right. And you can only believe in them so much more than they can believe in themselves. You can't believe in them more. They have to want it. So you have to kind of build that up for them, because like you're saying, Amanda, a lot of people aren't used to that. They're definitely not used to putting themselves first. And so when they start thinking about that, it's hard to even think about, and it's a lifestyle change. It's a hard commitment. So it really just needs to be drilled into their head.
And as coaches, they might not have anybody that believes in them. You might be somebody who the light bulb finally goes on and they're saying, oh my gosh, somebody believes in me. So I will say Danielle, I believe you can do this. But are you serious? Because I will give you one of these spots in my challenge. I have this many spots left. One of them is yours, but I have to know that you're committed to this. Mm-hmm. And, that you believe in them and that you're encouraging them like that. I mean, that can be the tipping point for a lot of people because they feel like they're alone.
Right. I think the recruiting school will help you. I'm really excited for you guys to go through that.
Yes.
I think we're about to be cut off, so I think I'm going to go ahead and
1 minute. 1 minute warning. Or way to have to take a selfie.
Oh, better hurry.
Okay, everybody smile. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Okay, I think I screenshotted it, so we'll see. We'll see if that worked.
All right. Well,
have a good night, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Good job, Amanda. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
I did too. It was
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
All right. Have a great night.
Bye.